It's the Kenner Chronicles, rambling from a toy junkie. Welcome back, everybody, to the Kenner Podcast, the bi-weekly podcast about Kenner toys. Although we always say it's about Kenner toys, but we end up rambling about stuff all over the board, from Star Wars to pop culture to new movies to everything. We all end up. And I just want to say, we're going to try a video podcast this time. That's right. If you're on YouTube watching this, you'll be able to see a video of me talking. Sorry, I'm not much to look at. And you'll notice that I'm not in the toy closet anymore. Finally, everyone's always told me, hey, Junkman, when are you going to get out of the closet? When are you going to come out of that closet? I'm out of the closet. My daughter went to college about 2 months ago. So I decided to turn her room into a studio or toy room, whatever one you want to call it. So I hope you like it, and I'll start doing videos here. If you're listening to this on iTunes or just the podcast version, just the audio version, you don't know what it looks like. But I'm sure you'll see it on YouTube soon. I still got some more stuff to do and move around. And this used to be an attic. She kind of turned it into a room. And it's very small ceilings, so like right up there, I can almost touch the ceiling. So that's why it looks like I'm sitting on the floor, because I am sitting on the floor. But I hope it's going to do good. And if you're new to the podcast, I'll remind you that I'm probably going to say a lot of shit wrong. I'm going to try my best not to edit as much as I can with this, so it's not going to be a professional podcast. We're just a couple friends hanging out talking Kenner. I don't want to feel like, I'm above everybody else. I'm preaching to you on Kenner toys. But what are we going to talk about today in Kenner? Honestly, I don't know. I've been racking my brain all day to come up with a topic. And I put it on the Twitter, on Kenner Toys, to vote on a topic. I listed 3 things. All of them got votes about the same. And to be honest with you, I didn't even know if I wanted to talk about those topics. So today I think we're going to kind of freebase it. We're kind of just going to go and see where it goes. If you're new to the podcast, usually I like to start with a Kenner topic, and then we move on to the news, then we move on to some viewer mail, and then we move on to some pop culture stuff. But let's just start with Kenner and see where it goes. First, I want to bring this up because I see it all the time. People ask me all the time, hey, Kenner Junkman, or Star Wars Junkman, or hey, asshole, whatever they call me, whatever they want to call me. They'll say, hey, why didn't Kenner make a Governor Tarkin figure? It makes no sense. He was probably one of the main bad guys of A New Hope. Why didn't Kenner make Governor Tarkin action figure? Well, let's be honest. This was 1977 when they started designing the figures, 1978 when it came out. They didn't aim for collectors. They aimed for kids. And what do kids want? The heroes, right? Darth Vader, because he looked like a bad... you had to have Darth Vader. And aliens, or droids, aliens and droids. That's what the kids saw and wanted. They wanted their heroes, they wanted some alien monsters, they wanted Darth Vader, and then they wanted the droids. Because it was fun to play with. An old, crusty old man isn't that fun for kids. And that's what Kenner went for. Today, Hasbro and all of them go straight for the collectors more than the kids, I think. So that's really why you didn't get a Tarkin. Now, that's not the only reason. The Star Wars New Hope line is very short. 21 figures? They came out in 1978, Series 2 in 1979, and then by I'll keep looking at the mic. I'll try to look at the camera now. By 1970, 1978 was the first wave, 79, and then by 1980, they was launching into The Empire Strikes Back, so they couldn't really have Tarkin during The Empire Strikes Back. This reflection back here is distracting. Sorry, guys. So, it was a very limited run. Unlike Empire that had, you had, 1980, 1981, 1982. You had a good 3 years until they launched into Return of the Jedi. So you had a lot of figures to work with. I think if Kenner did have more time with Star Wars, you would have saw a Tarkin. You would have saw some of those figures that you wished you got, maybe a Biggs. But I'm not sure. Biggs, Wedge look like Luke X-Wing. Right up here for those on the video. Luke X-Wing pilots, just like that. So that's really the gist of it. They just wasn't designing Tarkin is not a kid-friendly figure. I mean, I played with the Star Wars figures, and to be honest with you, I never even thought about having a Tarkin figure. Never. I never was like, oh man, I need Governor Tarkin. Never crossed my mind. A lot, some other figures come, maybe Princess Leia in the slave outfit, which, have you noticed people call her the slave outfit Leia? But growing up, I never called her slave. It was always Jabba's prisoner, or prisoner outfit, or gold bikini. That's what we all called it. Let's be honest. We all called her the gold bikini outfit. So I didn't hear the word slave outfit until probably, early 2000s. But why didn't we get that? One thing, it's not appropriate for kids probably, but I don't think that's really the deal. I mean, you had other figures that was dressed in, I mean, she's just wearing a bathing suit, and that's not something unusual for toys. I mean, I can't think of any action figure that has a bathing suit on. I know there's a Love Boat action figure line. Yes, they made an action figure line to Love Boat. Can you believe that? It wasn't Kenner. So, who was it? Miko? Was it Miko that did it? The company that turned down Star Wars decided, hey, we didn't want that Star Wars, but hey, we'll take this license to Love Boat. Love Boat. But, what was I lost my train of thought now. That's what I get, right? Where was I? What was I even talking about? Oh, this Prisoner Leia action figure. I just don't think it was something, people get kind of get mad when you say this, but it's true. At least back then, I don't know, it might be a little different now. Female actions didn't sell. They didn't focus on female action figures. Sure, we had Princess Leia, but that was about it. And Kenner much rather was focused on a new Luke Skywalker or a different Han Solo than a Princess Leia in a slave outfit. I mean, we didn't really need it. It was another figure I didn't even really think about. It's funny, I didn't think about all this. Oh, why did they make this? Why didn't they make that? Until years later, probably in the 90s, when I got back into vintage collecting. That's when I started thinking, why did they make that? Why did they make a Tarkin? Why did they make an Aunt Peru, Uncle Owen? I mean, come on. Now, the only one I'll give them that really bummed me out as a kid is, we didn't know his name back then. Now he's Dr. I can't remember, some doctor guy. But he hung out with Walrus Man. Ponda Baba for you kids out there. So why did they make him? That's the one, because they were, they were best friends in the movie. They were together in the scene. So that one kind of hit me as odd. Why they didn't make him? Because he is an alien. Well, he's not really. I guess he's not really an alien. To kids watching it in 1977, he was kind of like an alien, but he was more of just an ugly dude. Now, what I was curious is what they would call him, because Kenner gave these action figures stereotype, you could say racist names to some of them. Walrus Man, looks kind of like a walrus, so they call him Walrus Man. Hammerhead, there you go, looks like a hammer, so they call him Hammerhead. Snaggletooth, he got a Snaggletooth. And then you get on up to Prune Face is another one. He looks like a prune face, so they called him Prune Face. So I always wondered, what would Hasbro have called the doctor guy that hung out with Walrus Man? Mr. Ugly Face? Butt Face? They would have gave him something. They wouldn't have gave him a character name. They would have gave him something that looked like his infliction, Ugly Face Man or Pig Snout. I bet they would have called him Pig Snout. That's the one I'm going with, Pig Snout. But that's something I hear a lot, and I thought I would just tackle that, because a lot of people always say, why did they make a Tarkin? Why didn't they make a Tarkin? And here's another, and like I said, we're just freeforming it, so we'll talk about something else. Now, Star Wars Holiday Special. You all love the Holiday Special, right? Everybody loved that. Why did they make action figures for the Holiday Special? Well, they did, kinda. They was going to make a Wookiee family. They was going to make Chewbacca, Lumpy, what's his wife's name? Oh, I can't believe let's see. We got Lumpy, Chewbacca. The guy starts with an L, don't it? Llama. And you got that old pervert grandpa. Kenner actually designed figures of those. Well, actually what they did is just took the mold of Chewbacca and kind of molded it. And I think the Lumpy figure was one of their little action hero lines. You can always tell them because it's got a bent arm. And they tested it, and I think because the reaction to the Holiday Special was such bad, I mean, as famous now as being bad, I think it got good ratings from where I remember, because everybody I know tuned in to watch it, but you never saw it again. So I think once CBS aired it, CBS probably got it and said, man, this is horse crap. Let's air it since we promoted it. And then, you never saw it re-aired. And as George Lucas is famous for saying, if he had the money and the time, well, he's got the money, I'm sure. If he's got the time, he would go to every convention, everywhere he could, and smash every copy with a hammer of the holiday special. So no one's a fan of the holiday special, and I think Kenner realized into it, it's like, hey, this is a disaster. We're not going to make figures for this. So I did a video, I talked about it here, about how Snaggletooth can be considered a holiday special action figure, because that's where you see him more at. In fact, he's got the famous belt buckle design. You can see that in the holiday special. I know there's some Snaggletooth looking characters during A New Hope, and I guess technically it's A New Hope, but if you look at the card for Snaggletooth, it has a picture of a promotion shot from the holiday special. So I think, and this is not based on anything, I think if they did that holiday line with the Lumpy family, I was going to say with the Lumpy family, with the Chewbacca's family, I think you might would have saw Snaggletooth in that line. Now, that's just a theory I have. I can't prove it or anything, but it makes sense for the time period and everything. And, way they could, combine both lines. They could bring in, say, hey, here's Snaggletooth and Greedo. He's in the holiday special. He might go by a different name there. I can't remember because he's dead. Hammerhead. So you could have done these whole aliens that showed up in Series 2 right about the time holiday special came out. So you could release them as holiday special figures and as movie figures and kind of join it together. And I think that's probably what they would have went for if they did do the holiday special figures. But Kenner isn't all Star Wars. And it seems like that's all I talk about here. Star Wars, Kenner, Star Wars, Star Wars. But what else is there? Let's talk about one that I love, and I sadly don't have any. Well, I'll take that back. I got a few. I got Indiana. We're going to talk about Indiana Jones. I've got Indiana Jones. I got a loose Indiana Jones with his broken thumb. What is the deal with his thumb? If you buy a loose Indiana Jones from that series, he's going to have a broken arm. And I've got the 12-inch Indiana Jones, and I've got I think Belloc. I think that's about it. I mean, that line is expensive to collect, even loose. Sadly, when the prices were down back in the 90s when I was getting into the Star Wars vintage stuff, I didn't get into Indiana Jones stuff, and I wish I did, because it is an amazing line. What I have is what I was left over from a child, from me when I was a child. But if you don't know this Indiana Jones Kenner line, it's amazing, and I'm sad that it didn't really do good. I did a whole video of why did Indiana Jones fail. Not only the Kenner line fail, but the 84, was it 84? 83, 84, 84. 84 LJN, Temple of Doom line failed. And they skipped over Last Crusade. No one wanted to do a toy line of it. And then Hasbro came back when Crystal Skull came out and did a figure line for all the movies. And it failed. And in the video I'll go over, you can watch the video on YouTube and go over why I think it failed. And to make it short of why I think it failed is because kids, when it comes to Star Wars, kids wanted to play Star Wars, play with Star Wars. They wanted to escape into the galaxy, but when it came to something like Indiana Jones, you wanted to play Indiana Jones. You wanted to go outside and jump over the creek, run up and down the hills and everything. The kids do that anymore. The kids go outside and play. Really? I mean, I don't. I've got a 12-year-old. He goes outside, but we would wake up in the morning. What? 9 o'clock on a Saturday. Maybe watch a little cartoons, have a little Count Chocula cereal, and then we'd get on our bikes and we'd be out there. No cell phones, no GPS, no internet. You couldn't find us. Mom would go on the back porch and yell, "Star Wars Jumpman!" But if I didn't answer, I wouldn't come back. I just act like I didn't hear. They couldn't find you. And they didn't worry. They didn't call the police that you've been gone all day. But you ride around in the woods on your bicycle or ride over to a friend's house a couple blocks away. And you stay out all day. Wasn't it fun? And you go out there and play Indiana Jones. I remember we had woods right behind my house. Man, it was great. It had a creek and some wooden bridges that a neighbor guy built to cross over the creeks. And wasn't it a great day when you found a vine in the woods? Is it just me? Man, when you cut down that vine, you could swing across a creek. Whew. Now, I didn't ever want to be the first one to swing across there or the second one. And here, I would always, I'm not swinging first. You test it out. I'm not swinging it first. I'm not swinging across the creek first because it's pretty deep area, especially when you're little. Everything looks huge. You know, everything when you're 10 or 11 looks like the Grand Canyon. But we would swing right across there. But I would never go first. And then it would be my turn, probably third or fourth. I think, well, now that was weak, you know. Now the fat kid next door is going to cross it 2 times. Now I'm really not going to do it. So it would take me probably a day to get up the courage to go over that creek and on that vine. But man, I love that. And if you got some kids listening, this is where you close their ears. I'm going to talk about something else we used to find in the woods. I don't know. Was it just me? Was it just where I lived? Was it something in the South? Was it something about... We used to find... No, I'm whispering. I'm the only one here. We used to find porno magazines. What? Who was buying dirty magazines and leaving them in the woods? But man, wasn't it a great day when you found one that somebody's hidden stash in the woods where somebody, well, they threw it away into the woods. I remember we had this big concrete rock, slab of concrete. I guess it's from when they put in the neighborhoods or something. And there was a little opening in the back between where it was laid up against the bank in the woods. And every once in a while, somebody would have a magazine shoved up in there. Man, what a day. You know, I mean, back then, even if you didn't find a porno magazine, if you found, you know, well, I don't think they had Victoria's Secrets, but if you found one of the catalogs like Sears or something, it shows a girl, she was a woman in a bra and her nightgown. Woo! I mean, you just saw triple X right there. So I'm getting, but I just want to know if anybody else that played in the woods found porn magazines laying in the woods. It's the strangest thing. I don't, you know, none of the kids I hung out in the neighborhood bought them. We were all too young. So you had to be 18, I guess, to buy them at the gas station. But what 18-year-old was buying magazines and take them into the woods to look at them? I don't know. It's very strange, but I'm just curious if anybody else had that happen. So, well, let's get back to the Indiana Jones line. This is a great line. They did Indiana Jones. I don't have it right in front of me, and I'm sorry, Indiana Jones. Marion, Indiana Jones. Of course, Sala they did. The German soldier guy, the mechanic. They did Belloc, of course. They did 2 Bellocs, one with the normal Belloc, which I think they should have done the... You know, they did the normal Belloc of him, but they should have done the one that was him from the beginning of the film with the little hat and everything. I think that would have been better. So they did Belloc, and then they did the Monkey Man, and they did a few others. But the play sets is really what you want. If you're gonna collect Indiana Jones, those play sets are amazing. You got the map room and the Well of Souls. Them were 2 great play sets, and they're very detailed. That's what I love about them. Even in the Ark. It has a little casing that goes over the Ark, and on that case is a drawing of Threepio and R2. It's pretty neat to see. But I love that playset. Both of them was pretty neat. They also did the truck. Now, I didn't have the truck growing up. I did have the playsets, and I didn't have the Cairo Street playset, which is kind of a dumb. You know, it just came with a basket and a fruit and a table. That's what kids want to play with, right? A table and a basket and fruit. But it did come with a figure, so I give them that. But the truck I didn't have as a child. I've seen it later since back in the 90's and stuff, and it's an amazing truck. It's really great detail. That whole line is amazing details, and I hate that we only got really 2 series out of that, and then they pulled the plug on it, because I think that would have been a great line to have if Kenner kept the line all the way up to Temple of Doom, and then they did Temple of Doom, and LJN didn't do it. LJN did them bigger. If you ever seen it, it was like a lot bigger action figure. Not a lot bigger. Just a little bit bigger. And they only did 3. They only did Indiana Jones, Multiram, and the Swordsman for some reason. And I think there was going to be a Willie and a short run released in Series 2, but they canceled the line before that. So what else? So Indiana Jones, what else Kenner was out there? Of course, Superpowers. I think, hold on guys. Now, everybody loves Superpowers. That's right. The Superpowers Kenner line is probably the second most popular Kenner line out of Star Wars. Star Wars first, and then Superpowers, and then third I would probably go with Ghostbusters maybe. That Ghostbusters line is pretty popular. Or Mask. Goes right around there. But, well, now we get into what's popular, right? Because the pre-Star Wars line, $6 Million Man, is pretty popular too for Kenner. But anyway, I think the two most popular is Kenner Star Wars. Without a doubt, Star Wars is the one that made Kenner its name. And then Superpowers. And I'll be honest with you, I can't sit here and talk Superpowers because I didn't buy Superpowers. I think I had a Superman growing up and that was it. And I wish I could sit here and tell you details about the Superpowers line, but I really don't know the Superpowers line. Again, if you're a Superpowers collector and you're out there watching this, you want to come on, we can Skype, come on the podcast, talk about it, we'll do that. That would be a lot of fun. I'm trying to bring in other people. I like to try to bring in other people. You know, we did a whole podcast about the Shadow action figure line. Now, I know nothing about the Shadow. Do you? I know more about it now, being that we did. Oh, man, I forget your friend. I mean, he's one of the podcasters on Sequels Quest. Very good podcast. Check it out. But I'm drawing a blank on your name right now. I'm sorry. But we talked about the Shadow for an hour. I thought he would come on. We talked the last 10 minutes of the show about the Shadow. But no, we talked about the whole thing. No, we talked about the Shadow for an hour. And I knew nothing about the shower. The shower. That would be a good action figure line. About the Shadow. And we learned a lot. I learned a lot, and it was a lot of fun. So check out that podcast if you didn't hear it. It's really good. Special episode. But I was saying, I wish I could have talked more about Superpowers, because now that I'm older and I look at the Superpowers line, I'm impressed with it. I'm like, why didn't I buy this as a kid? I think if I'm right, it came around 83. You know, I was in the Star Wars, slowly getting in out of Star Wars into the He-Man toys. And my brother would yell at me for saying He-Man, because he would always say, it's not He-Man, it's Masters of the Universe. I said, well, you know what I'm talking about. I call it He-Man. It's easier just to say He-Man. But in the 90s, I wish I got back into Superpowers. I wish I cared a little bit more about them than I did, because they look amazing. And now, you know, buy them carded, they're so expensive. I can't get into it now. In fact, I got too much time in Star Wars and other things right now. But it's a good looking line. If you're new to collecting and you don't know if you want to do Star Wars or Indiana Jones, or you just know you want a vintage line, and you've got the money to jump into it, or there's always a way to collect on a budget. We did a whole podcast about that. But Superpower line, I put right there at the top with Star Wars. Quality-wise, I know I said it's just as popular. It's the second most popular line, but quality, the Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Superpowers, well, hell, all the Kenner lines are really good. Well, they spent a lot of time saying about the Shadow. I was talking to them about the Shadow line, and you can tell they put a lot of detail and thought into that line. Although it was just one series and the movie flopped, they still put a lot of love in that line. You can tell by looking at it. But I know I said we were free-forming, so I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go through the Star Wars line, okay? Let's go through the Star Wars line, and I'm going to use a cheat sheet. Now, I know you're saying, hey, Chuck, man, you supposed to know the Star Wars line. Why do you got to look it up for? Well, I do. I just don't want to forget anybody. I just want to go in kind of order and talk about each. So let's talk about each Star Wars figure. How about that? Series 1, we got Luke Skywalker. What's it say about Luke Skywalker? Don't call him Farm Boy Luke Skywalker. He's not. He's Luke Skywalker. The other Lukes are Luke Hoth, Luke Jedi, Luke X-Wing. This is just Luke. Plain Luke. Don't call him Luke the Farm Boy or Farm Boy outfit. I hate hearing that. To me, he's just Luke Skywalker. Princess Leia. I know I don't have much to say about it. Great looking figure. One of the best looking figures that captured Carrie Fisher. It looks like Princess Leia. Kenner wasn't the best at the time of doing figures that look like him. I mean, look at Greedo. He's wearing a green jumpsuit. Nothing like in the movie. And let's not even get into how Han Solo looks nothing like Harrison Ford. Princess Leia, the normal white gown outfit looks amazing. It's a good looking figure. And it's an iconic figure. When you see that figure, that's probably one that stands out. That's Star Wars Kenner by just looking at it. I love that figure. Han Solo, we just talked about, came in a big head and a small head. The crazy thing is, Hasbro, oh my God, I almost said Hasbro. Kenner liked the big head Han Solo better than the small head. That's right, the small head came first. The big head's the correction. While they wanted to fix it because they thought his head was too small, so they gave him this huge, humongous head. I think someone at Kenner didn't like Harrison Ford and was trying to tell everybody, hey, this guy's got a big head. This guy's conceited. With the Han Solo figure, again, it looks good. What I like about Han Solo figure, his arm was bent. You know, all the other figures, you know, they just had a straight out arm. Han had a little bend to him where he could hold that pistol up like that, you know, up by his face. It was awesome. I like that. It can make him look like he's really fitting to draw that gun. And, well, I'll get into that in a minute. Who else do we got? We've got R2-D2, of course, iconic. Just, I wish they made him with a third leg. Now, I know what you're saying. Hold on. They did make him with a third leg. He came in the Droid factory. I don't know if you count that as an action figure, okay? I know we did a whole podcast about what's an action figure, what's not an action figure. I don't count the three-legged build-your-own droid from the Droid factory, build-your-own R2, part of the action figure line. Now, maybe I should, because I count Jabba as an action figure, and a lot of people tell me it doesn't count as an action figure. I count Blue Snaggletooth as his own action figure, and people tell me, hey, he's a variant, he's not an action figure, but I see him as a Sears exclusive. So that's a good question. I didn't think about, really thought about right now. Is R2-D2 the third leg that you build in the Droid factory? Is he part of the action figure line? If he is, I need to get him because that's the only action figure I don't have. But I never really counted him as an action figure. So tell me what you think about that one. That's a good question right there. Then we have Chewbacca. Everyone's lovely. Wookiee. Again, I don't really much to say. He didn't really do nothing. He just came with his crossbow. Yes, he came with a crossbow. That's what we called it back then, a crossbow. It's funny how these words change through time, isn't it? Hell, we got Obi-Wan Kenobi. We got a gray hair and a white hair Obi-Wan Kenobi. He looks good. Now, let me ask you about this, about the Luke and the... Oh, not Luke, but Obi-Wan and Vader. Did you have them with the cape up or the cape down? Everybody's different. I always had them with the cape down. I think that's how they came packed, or someone came packed like that. I don't know. We always folded the collar down. Other people like to have it kind of like the Fonz, you know, have his collar up like a cool badass from the 50s. But to me, it looks better when you fold that collar down. So we got Obi-Wan. He looks good. Comes with a blue saber, which can we talk? You know, let's talk about the sabers. Luke comes with yellow. He has blue in the movie. Obi-Wan comes with a blue saber. He has yellow in the movie. And Darth Vader comes with his red saber, although it looks purple on the card. And Obi-Wan's is yellow on the card, but it's blue in the package. And Luke doesn't even show anything. I mean, it's all screwed up. Larry Wampa did a whole video about it on our YouTube channel. Check it out. They screwed it up on the puzzle. They screwed up the lightsaber color on the 12-inch figures. Everywhere they could, Kenner screwed up getting these lightsabers color corrected. I don't understand why. So then we have Jawa, everyone's favorite little Jawa. Again, he first in a vinyl cape, then a cloth cape. To me, the cloth cape looks better. I would love to have a vinyl cape one. Don't get me wrong. I mean, really, I would love to have that figure. But to me, the cloth cape just looks better. It looks like a better looking. It just looks more like a Jawa in the cloth cape. Now here's your Tarkin figure. People say, why didn't they make Tarkin? Well, they did. Death Squad Commander. Okay, I know he's not Tarkin. But if you wanted to have a toy that was Tarkin, that was your Tarkin. Although, as a child, for a long time, I thought it was a Rebel Soldier. I put him with my Rebel Soldiers for a long time. Yeah, but I still don't. That's another one that I agree with people. Why didn't they make is the Rebel Soldiers from A New Hope, the ones on the Blockade Runner. That would have been a great figure. And would have been a figure you want to buy more of, like the Stormtrooper. And then we have Greedo, like I said, in his green jumpsuit. He looks good. He was always one of my favorite aliens. The toy line was Greedo. He just looked really good. And he had his hand had a circle to hold the gun. A lot of them would have an open hand. You had to put the gun in there, and 2 seconds later it'll fall out. As soon as you start playing with them, the gun goes flying. But I think Luke X-Wing, Greedo, is there any more? They're the only two I can think of right now that has the actual circle. You know, their index finger and their thumb is connected so you can put the gun in there and it doesn't fall out. Now, why didn't they do that for everybody? I can't tell you. It's silly that they didn't. Why they just picked those two figures to do, and then everybody else had an open hand where Han Hill had a good grip on his gun, but you take somebody like Walrus Man, you know, you put that gun in his hand, it'll fall out as soon as you make him. You know, kids like to play with them. As soon as you jiggle them around a little bit, that gun is gone. And like I said, that Walrus Man, we just talked about him. Luke X-Wing pilot, like I said, circle of the hand. And for y'all out there, I've mentioned this before. What you see at the top is not his brown hair showing through his helmet. That's his goggles that he wears, flight goggles. For the longest time as a kid, I thought that was his brown hair under his helmet, and I put it on Twitter that, hey, that's not his hair, that's his goggles. And people, well, not really goggles, more like the shield for his helmet. A blast shield, is that what they call it? You know, it kind of comes down, you know, kind of like a glass little. Okay, I'm rambling. You know what I'm talking about, but that's what people. For a long time, people thought that was his hair. I mean, it wasn't just me. Stormtrooper. Let's not forget Stormtrooper. This is the figure I was convinced proved without a doubt that the Stormtroopers were robots. And why is that? Well, I thought it said oil on the back of them. And me and my brother used to debate. He's like, no, they're just soldiers. They wear armor. And I would say, no, they're droids. They're robots. And you have to oil them. If you look at the back, it says OIL. You know, it says oil. That's where you put the oil on them. Yeah, I really thought that. Sorry, I did. Who else got R5-D4? Yeah, a little strange one. Why did they make that? I mean, they didn't really need R5-D4. He's just a square R2. He's R5-D4. Luke Skywalker told him my R2 unit. So there you go right there. There's not really much we can say about him. Power Droid. I know you young kids are going to change his name and call him Clunk or something because that's the sound he makes when he walks around. But I like Power Droid because he did make that sound. He would, you know, I wish I had him right here in front of me. I got him. I don't feel like getting up, but he's over there somewhere. But he would do that clicking noise when he went back and forth with him. And he had that little rubber tip at the top. And I don't know, something, when I was a kid, I took that little rubber tip out and would chew on it. I don't know why. I remember chewing on it. Didn't eat it. I would just chew it and spit it back in my box. Yeah. We didn't have I had a carrying case, but when we got, you know, with too many figures to put in the carrying case, we had a pony shoebox, or a Converse shoebox, and that's what I kept my figures in, and I would spit back my little rubber tip on my Power Droid. Okay, then we got Threepio. Not much else we can say about Threepio, just a standard. I wish they would put the silver leg on him, but again, this is Kenner. They wasn't very detailed back then, like they would be today. Like I said, you know, his jumpsuit. So Threepio looks good. It's a good looking figure. Right there for y'all on the video. Not much else I can say about that. And then we have finishing out the New Hope line. That's right, Bubba Fett. Bubba Fett's part of A New Hope. Yeah, I know your kids are saying, well, he's in Star Wars A New Hope. That makes sense. Well, he wasn't in Star Wars A New Hope back in 1977 when we saw it. In fact, we didn't even call it A New Hope. It was just called Star Wars until like 82, and then Lucas went back and added A New Hope. And still for years, I didn't call it A New Hope. New Hope was more of a trivia question. Like, hey, what's the first movie called? What's the subtitle of the first movie? So you get into Boba Fett and look at him. I don't have him to show you, but you know what Boba Fett looks like. He is an awesome looking figure. And this is where I get into people telling me, man, why does everybody love Boba Fett? I was like, well, did you grow up with this action figure? Did you love this action figure like we did? We love this guy. And this was the first bad guy besides Darth Vader. I mean, we had Stormtroopers and the Death Squad Commander guy, but we didn't, Death Star Commander guy, we didn't care about him. This was something new. I mean, Vader was a bad guy, but when you played Boba Fett, he was the bounty hunter. He was, hey, I'll help Luke Skywalker out this week, and next week when I'm playing with him, help Darth Vader out. And he was the first like badass guy that wasn't a villain that you could love, and then we all fell in love with him back then. So that's a look. I won't go through the whole line. I was going to go through the whole line, but we won't do that. I won't bore you to death, because you know what all they make. But that's the first line. In fact, if you like, we'll go back into it next week on the next podcast and maybe talk about the Empire line. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't have a topic for today, so I feel like I'm just rambling more than usual. And I am doing it, and I apologize I didn't have a good topic, and I was going to wait. I said, well, I can't skip, because then I'll be all, what the hell was that? And then I'll be all off my schedule. So I enjoy talking Kenner. I just wish I had a better topic to bring to the table this time.
Next, another interesting story that's in the news.
Well, there's not much to say about Kenner in the news, but we're going to talk about the Star Wars show. Now, I talked about this. I did a whole video on this. If you hadn't seen it, check it out. But during the Star Wars show, they went into the Lucasfilm archives and started digging through some boxes. And they had Kenner stuff in boxes. Now, I'm not talking about in the box, men in the box. They had them in the shipping cases, some of them. So really, you should check this out. It's really good. The Star Wars show. I don't often watch this show. It's usually not until somebody tells me something about this on it, then I'll go back in and I'll watch it. But check it out. They have an A-Wing. They find a couple boxes of the A-Wing. Now, if you don't know, the A-Wing was released in the Droid series. It was going to be released in the Power of the Force line, but they canceled that line in 85. They had the figure already for it, an A-Wing figure for the Power of the Force line. And they were going to bring it over into the A-Wing into there, but they canceled that line. The A-Wing was in the Star Wars Droids, so they just crossed it over into there. And released it as a droid ship. Now, a lot of collectors will count it as a Star Wars ship because it's in the movie. But it is technically part of the Star Wars droid line and not part of the Star Wars movie line. Now, I love the A-Wing. And I'm going to get some slack here. I love the B-Wing. B-Wing's probably one of my favorites. I love the B-Wing because I love playing with it. And that's why I fall in love with this stuff, is because how I'm ever playing with it. Don't get me wrong. The X-Wing is nice. But I like I like the B-Wing because you could swing it all around and the cockpit would stay in one spot. It was pretty neat. The A-Wing, I didn't even know about the A-Wing until I was older. And it's like I said, back in the 90s, I was starting to collect again. And I saw the A-Wing, and I love the A-Wing. And sadly, I've never had the A-Wing. I went back and bought the one in the 90s that they reissued, the Hasbro era did. And it's, it keeps me happy for now. But I would love to have an A-Wing one day. So check out the Star Wars show. They even found a sandcrawler. RC sandcrawler. Sandcrawler. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, this is awesome. And it was only issued in the Star Wars line. It didn't carry on like something like the Falcon and the X-Wing and stuff. So this is very rare. And they found like 2 of them in a case. Check it out. This again, a Star Wars show. I'll put a link to it and everything. And check out the video we make. I kind of did a reaction video on it. You might enjoy that. But that's as much as we got in the news right now. Like I said, we hadn't had really much news. But that's Star Wars Kenner in the news.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Okay, let's talk Star Wars. Okay, you're saying we've been talking Star Wars the whole time, but let's move into Star Wars news. Now, again, I'm not going to spend a whole hour talking Star Wars news because that's when we do the Star Wars Junk Podcast. That's what that's for. But the big story of the week has been J.J. Abrams is going to return to direct Episode 9. I love it. I know I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh man, come on, we need somebody else." First, I heard people complaining they need to get the same director to direct all 3, but they didn't do that. And now I hear, oh man, they're just bringing back. Oh, it's going to be a rehash of Return of the Jedi. Stop with your rehash! Okay? Sorry. The Force Awakens is not a remake of A New Hope. Okay? Sure, there's some elements they reuse. Some little things here and there, but it's not the same plot. It's not the same story. It's just people use that that wide brush to say it's a remake when it's not. Just because they have a similar themes here and there, it's not a remake. Temple of Doom has a lot of same beats and themes that Raiders had. Last Crusade does the same thing. A lot of the same beats. Nobody calls Last Crusade a remake of New Hope. Nobody calls Last Crusade a remake of Raiders, or Temple of Doom a remake of Raiders. Each one has snakes, the other one has bugs, the other one has rats. They both start off with an adventure that has nothing to do with the movie. And there's a lot of similar. I think in every movie, Han Solo reaches back and grabs something. He reaches back and gets his whip right before the door closes. Right before another door closes, he reaches back and gets his hat. There's always something, like in each movie the same. And sure. They played it safe with The Force Awakens. They wanted to reintroduce Star Wars to the new people. People that didn't grow up on Star Wars like we did, or people that didn't like the prequels. They wanted to kind of revamp Star Wars. And they used some similar themes. The Death Star. Okay, they kind of reused that again. I wish they didn't. I wish they would have came up with something else. A droid with plans in it. And there's some similarities. I'll give you that. But it's not a remake. A lot of people, I don't think they know what a remake means. But anyway, J.J. Abrams coming back to direct The Last Jedi. I like it. He gets to come in, put his finishing spin on it, end the trilogy, as far as we know, going to end the trilogy. But I have no problem with this. Now, Rian Johnson, everybody wanted Rian Johnson to come back. you know, I would have been okay if he came back, but I don't see what the big deal was because no one's seen The Last Jedi yet. It's hard to get on that boat of, hey, let's bring him back when we haven't even seen what he's going to do. I don't know how you would be able to go from working on The Last Jedi, bam, and then starting back again a couple of months into a whole nother thing. That's a lot of commitment to ask somebody to do. And I think I'd rather have somebody going in fresh. You know, JJ's hadn't done a film since The Force Awakens, so he's not getting right off The Force Awakens or right off a movie going right back into something else. So I think JJ, again, I'll give you the people that say it's a safe bet. It is a safe bet, but it's a safe bet that I like. And while we're talking about that, let's talk about another movie that's changed directors. Han Solo. Maybe it's just me, but Ron Howard's been posting all these photos from the Han Solo movie. I don't know about you, but I'm excited for Han Solo finally. Now, I wasn't a Han Solo film basher. I was never the person that said, we don't need a Han Solo movie. Because most movies we don't need. I mean, what movie do you really need? Maybe the prequels. Maybe we needed to see how Darth Vader became Darth Vader. But what movies do we need? Or, no one asked for a Han Solo movie. Well, Lawrence Kasdan asked for a Han Solo movie. And if Lawrence Kasdan wants it, he's going to get one. Because he's Lawrence Kasdan, okay? Man, the guy wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark. He basically made Han Solo into the guy we all love today. So I'm not the Han Solo basher, but I have been like, okay, you know, I'll see it when it comes out. But I'll be honest with you, I'm more excited to see Han Solo than I am The Last Jedi. Maybe because I don't know anything about it. And that's why I love that Ron Howard has really been tweeting out all these photos from the set and stuff and really has gotten me geared up for Han Solo. And I think he's changing a lot of people's minds where they're ready to see this. And I'm dying to see how what's his name looks like Han Solo, or how Lando looks, and I'm just ready to see a trailer or something. And this movie still comes out in May. We're only a few months away, and we haven't seen anything from it yet. So give us something. And I'm hoping by the time Last Jedi comes out, maybe at the theater we'll be able to see a Han Solo trailer. That'll be, cause I'm ready for Han Solo. He's tweeting out all these pictures, and it's really getting me hyped to see it. I really can't wait.
You're living in the past, man. You hung up on some clown from the 60s, man.
Well, since we're talking about movies, let's talk about It, okay? Did I talk about It last podcast? I don't think. I went to see it 2 weeks ago. Man. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and kiss ass like I know everybody else is liking it. And I thought it was really good. I really liked it, don't get me wrong. And I think the Tim Curry Pennywise was better just because he looked like somebody you would, if you saw Tim Curry's Pennywise and he started talking to you, you might be like, hey, yeah, I want to go hang out with this clown. I mean, I don't know why anybody would want to hang out with a clown. Even if it was Bozo, I'm not going to go there and talk to it. But they're both totally different types of clowns or characters. Pennywise is, the Tim Curry one, and I forget the guy that plays the Skarsgård guy. So they're really completely different. It's hard to compare the two. But I still love that Tim Curry one the most, man. That first half of that TV, and that's what thing, that It was a TV movie. You know, TV movies usually suck. That first half of It was great. Now that second half, you know, kind of sucked. I think we can all agree on that.
Hey folks, viewer mail time again.
John Conrad, I don't know where he's from, but he wants to know, what Kenner line do I like in the 90s? Good question. Because I always talk about the vintage line, and I don't consider 90s being vintage. So what in the 90s did I like from Kenner? Well, the one I have talked about, I've spread out my love for it wide open, is the Batman animated series, which turns 25 this year, I think. Just turned 25. That is an amazing line. I collected it back when it came out, but for some reason I only collected the villains, or I didn't buy hardly any Batman or Robin. And Batman is the one that's the hardest to find now, the normal and the gray Batman. I wish I bought that one. But man, the Penguin, Catwoman, Joker, you know the line. That was an amazing looking figure. That was an amazing figure line. I really like that. And I kept going. Let me tell you, we used to go into Eckerd's. Anybody remember Eckerd's? It was kind of like CVS or Walgreens. I don't think they're still around today, or Eckerd's. What was it? Eckerd's and Revco. That's what we had. Eckerd's and Revco. Now it's all CVS and Walgreens. But me and my buddy would go into Eckerd's, and back then, this was, you know, most stores were scanning stuff by this time. 93, 94. But Eckers were late on the ball by scanning stuff. So you would take it up there, ring up the price and sell it to you. Well, I hate to admit this because I feel like I'm. It's bad to say, and my buddy would go in first. He would peel off. They would have a clearance section up kind of near the front, and he would peel off a clearance price sticker, walk back to the toys, check it out, see if there's any Batman animated series figures that we wanted, put the clearance sticker on it. And then I would wait about 20, 30 minutes later, then I would go in and I would go back there and buy that figure at the sale price. Now, we were ripping them off, I guess, but we wouldn't like sticking 90-cent stickers on them and stuff. Maybe $1 or $2 difference, but I remember doing that mostly for Scarecrow. I love that Scarecrow figure. He had a little opening at the top where the light shines down and it made his eyes light up. Something they redid that with the Jawa for the Power of the Force 2 line, and I think that actually something they did for the Shadow line also. That Scarecrow figure was the first one of the series I really fell in love with. I did love the line, don't get me wrong. I loved them all. Oh, Two-Face was another good one. But that Scarecrow is the first one I fell in love with. And I grew up on Batman, the TV show, the 60s. I didn't really get into the comics much. I didn't really know much about Batman, although I did love, I saw the movie in 89 and all that. So when I started watching the animated series, Scarecrow, Clayface, even Two-Face, they were new to me. I didn't know who Two-Face was in 93 or 94 until I saw the animated series. I never knew Clayface was or Scarecrow. I knew Catwoman. And of course, Batman and Robin, Penguin and Joker. I knew those basic ones, but I didn't know the others. So when I started, I think I saw the Scarecrow action figure long before I saw the episode with him in it. And I fell in love just with that action figure. Because the action figure looked really great. I loved how that action figure looked. The designers really, that's something, I know I rag on Hasbro a lot. But Hasbro, since they bought Kenner, they didn't put the love in the design. I don't see that love and design that I see in toys anymore. From not just the figure, but from the art cards. Go back and look at the Star Wars art cards. Go look at, Ghostbusters art cards, Superpowers, or even in the 90s, Batman, the animated series. Now, I know what you're thinking. You said, well, this is, 94. Hasbro bought Kenner in 93. So they did put some love into it. But what happened is Hasbro bought Kenner around in 93. And a lot of that, Kenner was always working on stuff. And they took that design team and just shifted them over to Hasbro. But in 2000, they closed down Kenner. And they got rid of a lot of designers, and they started, people that was working on Star Wars, but now working on Star Wars and Jurassic Park. And that's really when Hasbro, they kind of lost me in the Star Wars Power of the Force 2 line while they made them all bulky He-Man. I still, to this day, can't figure that out. And I would love to talk to somebody at Hasbro to tell me why they made them like that. I'm still not sure. But even before, the end of the 90s when they closed down Kenner, when they first bought them in 93, they was bringing on people that was already working. Kenner was probably already talking to Warner Brothers about that Batman line and stuff. But you don't see that passion. Am I wrong? Please, if I'm wrong, I'm not really a new collector. I buy something if I see it, if I like it. But when I see like the new Hasbro Last Jedi figures, I just don't see that love there for them. I see, let's make it, let's get it out of the stores, let's sell it, let's move on. Let's make it, throw it out there, make our money, and then we'll come out with Series 2. But the animated series is that detail. People love, the card art. I just said it already. The card art, the action, that Scarecrow, everything. These people took their time in making these figures look good. And that's one of my favorite lines, if not probably my favorite line of the 90s. The question was what Kenner line I liked in the 90s. Now, I'm not sure. Yeah, this is 90s. I think. Robin Hood, Princess Thieves. Now, I've talked about this line before, and people's like, man, you like that movie? No, I didn't say I liked that movie. I honestly don't remember if I liked it or not. I know I saw it, but I don't remember much about it. And people are like, well, why you love that action figure line? All they did is take elements from Star Wars figures and Superpowers and kind of just throw them together. Okay, the figures look good. Don't get me wrong, they do look good. But to me, Robin Hood, if you look at those Robin Hood figures, Prince of Thieves figures, to me, that's the end of the vintage era right there. They kind of look like the Star Wars card. You know, it has a big photo from the film in it of the character. And they just look vintage. And to me, that's the last vintage line to me. So, I mean, like I said, it looks vintage. And to me, that's why that Robin Hood line carries a love with me. I have all the figures on card, even both Costner heads. Now, if you don't know, they did 2 different Costner heads. Well, they did 2 Robin Hood figures, crossbow and longbow. I think that's what they're called. Again, off the top of my head, so if not, I'm sorry. But they did the first Robin Hoods that came out did not look like Kevin Costner. They didn't have the rights to use Kevin Costner yet, which is kind of goofy. You know, they would worked all that out before they started making figures. But very soon into production, they got the Kevin Costner right. So they went back and changed the head. Now, but heads, I know the non-Costner heads are harder to find, but no one really loves this action figure line. So it's not like one's rare or one's going to cost you more because you can get them pretty dirt cheap. And yeah, I know they redid the Ewok Village for the Forest playset and did it better than Kenner did with the Ewok one. You know, they added leaves and everything. It made it look better. And they redid the battle wagon. And I know the Green Lantern is used for Robin Hood. You can still see the G on his belt. So, yeah, I know all that. But to me, being that they seem to be that gap between the end of vintage and new age, right there. They seem to be anything released after Robin Hood is new age. And to me, anything from Robin Hood back is vintage. Again, it's my own made-up timeline, but being how those cards are made and when they came out, you know, they came out. I think they came out right at the time Hasbro bought them, so they were probably designed before Hasbro took over. So to me, that's the end of Kenner Tonka years, Kenner General Mills year. So that's the end of the Kenner Tonka years, you could call it, or I just call it Kenner. And then you got Hasbro Kenner years in the 90s and right on up there. So what else did I like in the 90s? Of course, Power of the Force 2. I rag on it, but I did like it. Don't get me wrong. I know they look stupid with those all bulky and look like He-Man's little brother or something. But I loved having Star Wars back in the store. It was amazing to walk into a store and see Star Wars action figure. And like I said, I rag on them, but I bought 2 or 3 of each one. I bought one, left it closed, bought one open, and bought one just in case. You know, they did a Saturday Live skit about Star Wars collectors buying toys. That they've always buy 3. They buy one to display, one to open, and one just in case. And it's true, that's what I did back then. But I didn't go into Eckers. Eckers didn't carry them. I don't know why it was just that Scarecrow we went to Eckers and did that with. But let me see, what else did Kenner do in the 90s that I really fell in love with? I'm not a big... I've got some of the original Jurassic Park figures when they came out. I love the Jeep, the Jurassic Park Jeep, but I never really got into those. I don't know, what was it, Dennis Nerdy? The guy that... Wayne Knight plays him in the movie. Looked nothing like... Newman from Seinfeld looked nothing like the action figure. I think the Jeff Goldblum one maybe kind of did. And then I think Series 2, they kind of went back and did Grant and kind of redid them where they look more like the actors from the movie. I guess they didn't have the likeness rights at the time. Again, you think they would have worked all that out before they got into production of the figure. But the Jurassic Park, I know there's a lot of Jurassic Park. Now, I talked about, the most popular Kenner lines, and I didn't mention Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park might be more popular than Superpowers, but that's more Hasbro Kenner, and that's not really something I really dig into much. It's the 90s era. I'm more of the vintage Robin Hood and back, like I said. But don't get me wrong, Jurassic Park looks good. I think they got a little wacky with it by the end where they were doing all these bright colored dinosaurs, and they were just getting a little carried away with it, if you ask me. I think that's about it for the 90s line. The 90s wasn't, to me, a golden age. I was into collecting toys in the 90s. I was buying action figures, but Hasbro didn't really Speak to Me. Their Kenner line didn't really do other than Star Wars and Batman. You know, I think they did a Superman line. But I was into Playmates. Did really good with the Star Trek Next Generation figures. Did anybody collect those? Those look really good. And it saddens me that Star Trek Next Generation line is kind of forgotten about. You know, everybody, it's not worth anything. I think you can buy almost every figure for $2 or $3. I've got a rare Thomas Riker, not Will Riker, Thomas Riker that was worth maybe about $500 back in the day. Now I probably couldn't give it away. Well, I could give it away, but I sure couldn't get much money for it on eBay. And it saddens me that line, I mean, that TV show was still beloved, but something about that line, just people didn't take to it. You know, back in the day, we all collected it. I mean, everybody was looking for Troy when she came out. She was one per case, and I think she was late shipping or something. And she was very hard to find. But I love that. I even love the foot numbers. I know a lot of people joke because they, you know, each one had a different foot number because they said they only did a limited run. But if I saw a low, if I got a figure in the hundreds, man, I loved it. And if I got one below 100, whew, just made my day. What else came out in the 90s? There were, you know, Toy Biz did really good with the X-Men line. There was oh man, it's going to kill me now that I can't remember the name. But who did the Flash Gordon line? I never watched the Flash Gordon cartoon series that came out in the 90s, but they did a line of action figures that looked really good. Another one that I collected, and I didn't collect the full line in the 90s, was Playmates did it. Sequest. Anybody remember Sequest? Man, I forgot about Sequest. And I think I got they did the action figure line, and they did the Dolphin. Put him on a card. He looks like an action figure. Now I know if it was Star Wars, I would say, well, he's not an action figure. But he's on the back of the card, listed as action figure. He's on a blaster card, just like the other action figures. And then, remember, they did a villain. And they spelled it gun wrong. They spelled it G-O-N, I think. Goon instead of... I have to look that up again at the top of my head. But they spelled gun wrong. So everybody was trying to find the error card of the villain. I don't know his name, but he didn't look like anybody. They all look human. This one looked like an action figure. It looked like a cartoon action figure or something. He was kind of like a cowboy looking guy. So I remember he was really hard to find with that error on his card. So I didn't collect the full line by a Dolphin. You know, I got a couple of that guy, and I think I got the Dolphin. And I got a couple of the action figures from that. Another good line I didn't collect, but I loved how they looked, was the Gargoyles. Am I saying that right? Gargoyles? I didn't watch the show, but that was another line that really looked good. Who did that Flash Gordon line? That's going to bother me. Because it looked good. It was based on a cartoon, and it looked really good. Oh! How can I forget? Probably the second best one of the 90s. How did I forget the Aliens line? Now, I know people's going to say, well, it didn't look anything like the movie. Well, it's based on the cartoon series that never aired, that they never did make. And again, go to YouTube. I did a whole video about the failed cartoon line that the Kenner Aliens line was based on. But these figures look great. I mean, didn't they? I mean, the aliens were the best of the line. Don't get me wrong. Everybody loved those aliens. They look really great. But again, going back to the designers had a passion for it. Look at those alien cards. You know, they did the aliens. The alien figures came with an egg. The blaster bubble was shaped like an egg. I mean, see, Hasbro doesn't take this love into it like they did back then, or like Kenner did. And it's sad, you know. And now it's just, let's just make, you know, did you see the Black Series Luke Skywalker that somebody found with one eye's down by his nose and one? I know mistakes happen like that, but just, there's a lot of ugly Star Wars figures that somehow Hasbro just sends out there. And I don't mean production errors, because that's going to happen, but there's a lot of figures. I think it was Poe Dameron Black Series one looked horrible, you know. But Hasbro didn't care. Ship it out there. They'll buy it. They don't care. They know, hey, Star Wars fans will buy it. They know Star Wars fans will buy it, and that's all they care about. But, man, that Alien line. Yeah, man, that Alien line was great, wasn't it? It started getting a little wacky with the aliens, and then they did a Predator line. I remember a 2-pack they did was Predator versus Aliens. It was just like your normal Alien and Predator. It was great. I love that set. And I think I still have those somewhere. I gotta get them out and put them up on display because that Alien line was great. Okay, I can't think of nothing else from the 90s I really collected. Talk Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. Man, I couldn't wait to get those. It was the only way for me to get a Leia Bosch figure at the time. But I like that series. It was pretty good. It was kind of wacky with the Chewbacca Bounty Hunter Chewbacca one with the flat top haircut. That was kind of weird, but it was a pretty good line. I remember my buddy used to call every Walmart within a 100-mile radius. And I was, hey, y'all got Shadows of the Empire figures? He called me, hey, they got them in Thomasville. Let's go. And we ride up there and they wouldn't have them. They just, somebody working at Walmart just, hey, you got your Star Wars Shadow of the Empire figures? Yo, we got Star Wars action figures. Come on up. And we drive, an hour up there, and they'd be the same old figures we had already. But he was obsessed with calling around trying to find these. And we both, I was obsessed too. I just didn't call. But man, we couldn't wait for that Shadows of the Empire line. Who made those Flash Gordon figures? Man, it's killing me. Was it Galoob? I want to say Galoob, but did Galoob do action figures? I can't remember. But I don't know, something's telling me Galoob.
All right, Ramblers, let's get rambling.
Anyway, I think I've rambled enough today. I'm sorry, this is not the best podcast I've done. Didn't really have a topic this week, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something about Kenner. I hope I, sparked something in you to go back and collect or something. Hey, man, I forgot about that. And I did a whole video. I don't think I've talked about this since I did the podcast. There's another video on YouTube. Check it out. It's called the 10 Forgotten Toys of the 70s and 80s, where I talk about stuff like the Green Machine, the Evel Knievel motorcycle, and I don't go through just Kenner toys. I go through not really just toys. It's kind of like stuff we play with, from BMX mag wheel bicycles. Anybody remember that? The mag wheel, had to have that. But I go through, games like Pass the Nuts. Man, me and my brother, man, I used to love the Pass the Nuts when I was little. But check it out on YouTube. If you're into all this pop culture stuff and you grew up in the 70s and the 80s, I'm hoping you'll watch that video like, oh, man, I forgot about that board game, or I forgot about that toy line. Check it out. It's up on Star Wars Junk on YouTube. But again, I apologize that this isn't probably the best podcast we've done because I hadn't had a topic, and I keep trying to get somebody to come on. Kyle Newman, who directed the Fanboy, said he was going to come on here, and then we just kind of stopped communicating. So maybe I'm going to reach out to him again and see if we can get him back on, because we couldn't ever get the time to line up. And maybe now that I'm running out of topics, we can get him on here. But no, I just been really lazy this week. It's been a busy week, and I didn't have a chance to research a topic or come up with anything. And then I was like, oh my God, it's Saturday. I got to talk about something. So I put that poll up on Twitter, and honestly, I didn't research any of those. I was going to talk about it, but I didn't really research any of the things. And then everybody voted about the same. I think I had 34%, 35%, 34% or something on every of the three topics. I apologize. I didn't really give you the best show I could have this time, but I hope you're going to listen to it. I hope you're going to subscribe. Please, if you're listening to this on iTunes or Google Play, subscribe. And please leave us an iTunes review. That's how we grow. We get up on the list, and then more people will find us, and then we'll do more, and then we'll get popular, and then we'll be able to get some more guests on. And again, if you collect Superpowers or Jurassic Park or anything Kenner, and you want to come on, we can do it over Skype or however you want to do it, and come on and talk about that toy line that you love. Reach out to me. You can find my email, is at StarWarsJunk.net. You can find all the contact stuff right there. So again, I apologize that this isn't the best of the podcast, but I hope you at least got some enjoyment out of it, and you spent an hour, listening to me rant about Kenner and toys and pop culture and all that. But let me say, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're seeing the video format of it, let me know if you want me to do the video again. Because I've been just putting up the audio on YouTube every other week. The podcast comes out, and I wait a week, and then I upload it to YouTube. So if you like the video version of this, let me know in the comments. So next time I'll do video and not just audio. So I hope you enjoyed that. And again, hope you like the new setup here. It's good to get out of that little small closet. And if you're just listening to this on the podcast, go to YouTube, and you can check out all this stuff right here. I mean, look at this. Look at this right here. That Kenner Cantina set. I mean, who doesn't like that? And let's see, we got the Death Star over here. Let's talk about this right here. Because I brag on Hasbro. Let's talk about this. Star Wars, they did the 40s. Let me get this real quick right here for the ones that are watching it right here. Now I'll tell you why I bought this, because I don't buy much new era stuff, but this is, it kind of looks vintage. It looks like the Kenner card and looks like the early bird set right here, but this was probably, $35, $40 when it came out. I found it at Walmart for $7.50. I love a deal. I cannot pass that up. So if you're out there and you like Star Wars, check out, because they got really overstocked at Walmart on these, and I think Target got really overstocked, and I saw a lot at Kmart. So keep your eye out, because with the new stuff out there, clearance and all this new stuff out. So definitely check Walmart, because that's where I saw it for $7.50. In fact, I told my buddy to go back and get one, and he did. And he got home, and somebody took the display out of it. I mean, for $7.50, he still got the figure. So, and it's not that bad. And I can't decide if I want to open it up and take the figure out or leave it like this. I kind of like how it looks. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be worth a lot of money if I don't open it, because new stuff ain't worth nothing, is it? But $7.50. So let's put that back right there. And for you guys, I'm sorry, for you guys that didn't see that on the video, you're probably like, what's he holding up? It was the Darth Vader 40th anniversary, I guess it's the early bird set. It looks like the early bird package. Now I'm holding up a Slave 1 micro machine for the diecast series vintage. We've got Rancor down there. Let's just trying to show what everybody else, because if you got any questions like me, we got some vintage figures up here on the wall. We got the shuttle. Look at that shuttle. I need to talk about that shuttle one day on the podcast, but I've been rambling so long now, I don't want to get into it. That is amazing. I mean, I'll do a whole video. I did a whole video of me building the Death Star. You might want to check that out if you're into that. That's probably the best play set anybody will ever have. At least to a kid in 1978, 79, that was the thing to have. And many people didn't have it, but my brother got it for Christmas, and we loved it. Can you see over here? We got some. See, I got Hasbro era stuff. I got Black Series up there. I love when they do the aliens. And please, Hasbro, please give me. I've got Bosk, and I got IGA, and I got Bubba Fett. I need my Cloud City bounty hunters. I need Forlom and Zuckuss. Please, Hasbro, give me them. Let's see what else we got up here. We got a Micro Machine Falcon. I love that. Man, I got traded for it. Like I said, if you're just getting into collecting, I did a podcast about collecting on a budget. I got that really good deal on the Micro Machine, that and the Slave 1 on Facebook group. So go to a Facebook group, start meeting some of these other collectors, and you can find deals, and you can swap and trade. And that's the best way to save money or collect Star Wars on a budget, is using the Facebook groups. And look over here, the skiff. Now I'm going to tell you a secret between just me and you. That's a Hasbro skiff. That's not the Kenner skiff from 1984. I wish it was. I've always wanted that skiff, but it's hard to find, and it's very pricey when you do. In fact, the Hasbro one's kind of up there, kind of hard to find also. But luckily, I got that one on eBay loose. Pretty good deal on it. It's complete and everything. But look at that. That looks amazing. I don't know if you can see it on there. I'm not sure if you can see it real good in the video or not, but maybe I'll do a video where we get more into depth. But anyway, look at me. I'm rambling again and again. I'm sorry this isn't the best podcast. But as I was starting to say, if you listen to this on iTunes, please review this podcast and rate us. It helps us grow. And as we grow, we hopefully get more people. And then I'll have more topics to talk about. I won't be just rambling. But again, thank you for listening. Remember, go to StarWarsJunk.net. And we'll be back again in 2 weeks to talk Kenner, Star Wars, pop culture, toys. Hell, who knows what we're going to talk about. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
You killed my brother George, you bastard!